Hey guys, welcome to session 27. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I had to make sure that number seemed much higher. Uh, so last time the group had come to the consensus that they were to leave Deeproot, heading east via the marshes, the bogs, the swamps, and with an uncertainty of how much time it would take them, they would travel to reach Green Hill. Uh, Roque did send his familiar Pebble north as the notes and plans that you had been able to scrounge up from the Swamp Hag's hut indicated that there was that necromancer tower that had a dark engine that was channeling the energies that was sustaining the undead, was north of her hut. So Pebble went off in that direction, far beyond Roque's telepathic link with his familiar. The group did set off east, and with some well applied spells and teamwork and the use of some now recently acquired magic items, you summoned 5 Bray, casted Water Walk on everybody ritually, and with Marb's help and the spell, made incredible time for the duration that the Bray are able to sustain in the narrow scape of Materia, which is about 8 hours. The group then did decide to continue their trek. I believe you guys did refresh your water walks on everybody because I believe it lasts 8 hours. And now we are in for about an hour or two after the Bray have despawned. The group is, while physically not too tired, I mean, the heat and humidity gets to you, some of the, the biting bugs and the lack of like natural light, though it does start to open up much more in this portion of the swamp. It still does have its toll on you. And the group did additionally come across some tracks which had been identified as troll tracks. And some of the group did mention that, well, trolls do tend to hang out in swamps, as the naturally inhospitable environment doesn't bother them nearly as much. The group then continued to head out stealthily as the menagerie continues their trek down the swamp, with Calisor shifting into a gator. And I have a perfectly amazing gator now for you.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Updated
Nice.
token.
It ticks for some reason.
Yeah, there you go. And I have to have fun. So yeah, you guys are about 10 hours in since you had left the hill in the morning. A little bit of note keeping is, from what I recall, Dregnar is keeping Pass Without a Trace up to the best of his abilities. Amara is helping, keep the rear watch. There's still, as far as not immediately related to the traveling, but as far as loot from the Necromancer's Tower, Roque is carrying the bag of holding and is carrying all the unclaimed loose items. There's 2 magic items, which were the steel visor and the great gut pots ladle, which officially have not been claimed, unless if someone wanted to say that they attuned to them in this time, because you would have plenty of time to do so. I know that you guys have that plan about the helmet going on the drift globe. I will allow that just because it's funny, but do understand that a drift globe is not designed to carry any weight at all. Short of like,
Oh yeah, 0 weight.
Okay. Yeah, like, you can put a cloth over it, no big deal. The drift globe, if y'all do something fun with it, I'll allow that to go, but it is intended to be, if there's anything on it, it just drops down, and then once it lets go or the weight is removed, it'll start floating again. But going back to the game, Calisor is up a little bit of a way ahead in his gator form, submerged partially in the water. Oh, that's another thing. As you guys are traveling this far, east, originally in Deeproot, the ground, it's a marsh. So there's very little solid ground underneath you, actually. Y'all are stepping on roots and vegetation pretty much the entire time. As you've been traveling, it's started to open up into more dirt and more dirt and ground. Even though it is saturated and damp and there's moss and vegetation, there is some solid ground underfoot.
Was it like this the first 2 days when we were coming out?
No, because y'all is coming up to Deeproot.
Yeah, when we landed at the beach or whatever and started working our way west.
Essentially, when you guys landed, y'all landed pretty much right in the edge of Deeproot. So you already were landing kind of in a mangrove-esque, where the trees were into the water, and y'all were jumping on there and stepping. So this is the first solid ground short of the hills that seem to sprout out, and then once you've gotten to Mathras's region. But Deeproot is just a gnarled bed of wood and vines and decomposing plant matter, essentially. And now here you're seeing solid earth, though very damp and saturated. But yeah, so it is 8 hours in. Y'all left early, so we said something like 4 or 5 maybe. Y'all trekked for about another hour or two. So while the dense vegetation is not nearly as much as it is in Deeproot here, that's still lots of trees and Marb will point out that the sun is starting to go down, and you'll probably have a good hour of light, and then you could continue to trek through the night, which I think was y'all's original plan.
Yep.
I leave it to y'all.
So I say we push on as quietly as we can.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right, because y'all did hear some munching and gnawing sounds. That's what it was right before the session ended.
Yeah, I want to get away from that.
Yeah. So with Pass Without a Trace, I need everybody to roll me a stealth check.
Did anybody have any objection to me taking the ladle?
Oh no, go for it.
No. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'll attune to it.
Okay. On D&D Beyond, just you know how to add it. So
it's already done.
Cool. Enjoy. If you have any questions on it, I'm here to clear it up.
Okay.
All right, Calisor with a 31 stealth.
Did Trace do a bonus?
Yes.
Yeah,
oh
10,
yeah,
plus 10.
One more.
Oh.
All right, so we got a.
No, that's with my.
I have disadvantage because I'm hiding exhaustion from the party.
Oh right, but you still got it. Jesus. Yeah, y'all basically disappear. It doesn't even matter. Even if some people roll a natural 1, it wouldn't even affect this. So yeah, y'all. Zoom.
Let's avoid combat. I used all my luck.
Yeah, nice.
Pretty magical.
That's impressive. Yeah, wow. Okay, that's some really good stealth. So as the rays of light are kind of breaking through the sun, the canopy, because of Dregnar's influence, you kind of see them being almost grabbed and kind of stretched even thinner as the shadows pull up from the ground and kind of encompass the group. And you guys very softly and quietly continue your trek forward with the gator Calisor about 20 feet ahead, dipping up and out of the water ever so slightly, keeping an eye out. So, and you hear off to the distance, and then you also hear the sounds of breaking vegetation, limbs and stuff breaking, as you would imagine a large entity is kind of leaned up against something. But they definitely do not notice you. The entirety of the group.
Just keep going, guys.
All right. So
We'll rest when the sun comes up, maybe.
All right. So is I guess the next hour I need the group stealth check will put you on a great advantage. I need at least 1 or 2 people to contribute to how are you going to get past the next hour or so of travel. Any skill check is applicable. Be creative. And you can, Davis, you can use Marb.
Yeah, I was thinking about that.
Calisor, you can use Roque as well. So their skills are at your disposal.
I mean, it's not that creative, but Marb can just, keep an eye out for using perception. Just make sure that they can move relatively quickly while also not being followed and just looking for critters that are out of place.
Sounds good. Marb does have access to his coin, so if you don't feel like rolling, you're more than welcome to flip for it. Otherwise, go ahead and give me that perception.
Plus twice his proficiency, right?
Yes, because he's in the swamps.
Okay. So that's a 6 plus... His normal would be plus 6 because he's proficient, and then 3 on top, right?
Yeah, so...
15 total.
15 total. Let me just make sure that sounds right, because perception plus 6, so plus 9. Yeah, 15. So Marb is, adeptly navigating through, kind of helping follow Calisor's lead, leading the group through. And... yeah, as you're walking through, Marb will pick up that there's, what do you call them? The old man's beards, starting to, collect and grow in the trees, those moss-like. And there's not too many here, but as you're traveling for the next hour or two, they start to become more and more and more dense in the trees. So you're making it possibly to another portion of the swamp. Anyone else got anything to contribute?
So Roque will notice that the vegetation is changing a lot and just be super curious about the new kind of vegetation and trees and plants and just do kind of a nature check to see if there's anything useful that he might want to pick up along the way as we're traversing new stuff.
All right. So Roque's nature is a d20 plus 7. He can guidance himself if he wanted to do a d4 on top of that.
Oh, you can roll it. So you got it.
Yeah, I got it.
24. Okay. Yeah. So
wait, no,
Roque
there's
will...
no d4 there.
Did it not do the plus d4?
Yeah. How did that roll? Or did that just roll the d?
Just rolled the d20.
Yeah.
Okay, so d20.
So it's 25 then.
25 total.
Because I missed the plus.
Yeah, no, it didn't add the 7 or the.
Yeah, I didn't add the 7. You rolled a natural 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
25.
Okay. 25 total. Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, Roque being Roque will, kind of meander and start wandering off the group, and Davis, you'll kind of pick this up as you're kind of with him in the back, bringing up the rear. And for a moment, you just kind of don't react, and you allow him to kind of walk around. And he kind of goes and he kind of starts poking and pulling and prodding. He's even scratching the bark on some of the trees, and he'll say, "Hey guys, I think we're getting to a... Oh, sorry. I think we're getting to another part of the swamp.
Yeah, that's the idea.
These are... Why are there so many? Davis, can you cut me one of those off with your glaive?"
Yeah, just be quiet, sure. And then I'll reach up and slice it.
All right. As you slice it, it kind of comes, and he kind of quickly, it misses when he goes to catch it. And he goes to reach for the little thing in the water and grabs it. And it's just, he's looking at it and he's like, He kind of pokes it, and then he kind of says, "Okay." Sniffs it, tosses it over his shoulder. Davis, while he's doing that and looking at it, you can go ahead and give me a perception check.
Sure. 11.
11. Yeah, he's just being odd about it. He's just kind of checking it out, looking at it. It's like,
That's our rock.
Just tosses it over the shoulder. Okay.
Was that all? I mean, come on. Let's go.
Yeah, that's just a lot of them. Okay, he keeps going. Right, so you guys are able, with the Pass Without a Trace, with Calisor and Marb leading the front, and essentially just the insane stealth, very easily make it to the next hour or so of travel. I would say y'all are probably on the last 30 minutes or so of daylight. That's being able to, like, those god rays are essentially just barely piercing through the canopy at this point. It's up to y'all if you guys wish to continue.
Is it all flat around here now, or do we still see any semblance of the hills that were there before?
Oh, as you've been traveling, you would see a few hills. The last hill, I would say, you passed maybe about 10 minutes ago or so, unless if you wish. So
I
you can
remember
easily
the
check
hills,
back.
like, it wasn't just a straight line of hills. There were like hills in all kind of directions.
Yeah, it's essentially just like as if like there was a shockwave and a ripple from a focal point, and then just hills kind of propped up just sporadically and randomly from that central point.
Got it.
There's no pattern, there's no sense to it, at least not in the scale that you guys were able to observe, which was, a bird flying potentially a few hundred feet up in the air, relaying what it sees. But there's definitely like, Dregnar and Marb and the Roque, the survival crew, while they're traveling, they may have tried counting their steps or seeing how, the distance between as far as you guys can discern, it is random. So you have about 10 minutes behind you, quote unquote behind you, there is a hill, and then y'all can continue forward. You don't know where the next hill would be per se, but you have seen them at least one every hour or so of traveling to a minimum. And essentially the ground before you looks like this. It is where there is ground, but there is a constant sense of saturation. There are some low-lying swamp vegetables or vegetation, and then there's these almost, like these twisted gnarled trees that come up, and some of them like weave into one another, creating like larger trees, and then some of them just cause like natural canopies, while others break early. There's vines. There's plenty of these Usina, or I think it's what's USNEA, Usni, whatever. Those are the old man's beards. Different like mosses and funguses growing from the plants. And there's always this moisture and humidity in here.
Al is just loving, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
You want to push on if possible, right? I mean, we want to.
Yeah, let's do it.
Get to
All right. So as y'all push on, essentially Dregnar, I don't think you have any more Pass Without a Trace available to you currently.
We could do a short rest as we walk, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't burnt that
I thought
yet.
that's what.
Okay.
I haven't done it yet.
All right. So, is there any flavor or anything to it, Davis, or you just want to say that?
So I guess I'll kind of just be going, and I'll actually be giving like each individual person kind of a little individualized pep talk as I go through. Kind of be like, hey, I know we're trudging along. I know your legs are hurting. I know it's hard to like keep dry now that we're not able to walk on water, and then we have to walk ourselves, and just keeping everybody's spirits up as best I can. And but we got this. Let's go. And then I'll use respite.
Okay.
And Al, unbeknownst to us, you are going to recover a level of exhaustion as a result.
Yeah.
So let me pace the thing.
Yeah. So Al, that pep talk has a much greater effect on you, as it's your rabble rouser brother coming around, pepping you up.
So it's effectively we get the short rest that you can do this stuff with.
So I guess during this time, if anybody, while Davis is going around, as it does give you that bonus to perception, if anyone has anything that they're looking out for in particular, you can let me know, and you can roll a perception check with your regular benefits, but you also get an additional +3 due to Davis's.
looking out for undead.
All right, go ahead and roll me that perception.
Can I get Davis's charisma as an extra bonus?
Yeah,
Yes,
plus
for
3.
you. Yeah. During this little 10-minute rest that he's kind of doing, the pace of the travel slowed down a little bit, and you guys kind of worked it out. Nice. Okay. Damn, natural 19.
You see
Grant,
the Necromancer's Tower? It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the Witch's Tower. Excellent.
Yeah.
Looks like the Witch's Tower is moving towards town. This is great.
It's following us. That's insane.
Bait into town, and then we can team kill it.
Yeah.
Get that other party that was cleaning up the mess we left behind.
Yeah. So as you're traveling, Grant, you kind of just instinctively go on the lookout as you notice that Davis is kind of more focusing on pepping everyone up, keeping the group going, and you kind of cover for his lack of awareness around him. And you do see, surprisingly, you do see some undead, mostly in the humanoid form, but they don't seem to notice y'all at all. And the sheer numbers this far out, being about, let's say, about 11 hours now away from where you were originally in the morning, not nearly as dense. This reminds you more of like your first day or two walking from the coastline up into Deeproot. And other things that you notice, even though you're just looking out for undead, you notice that there's a hill that is coming up. It's maybe about 10 minutes away. You can kind of you make it out through just it happens to be that you're standing in the right position, and just how the trees line up, you kind of thread your sight through it, and you thread the trees with your eyes, and you kind of see that there's a hill. And you almost would have missed it because you were so used to and accustomed to just seeing these barren, brown, dirt-covered hills. This one has vegetation growing on it, and some trees and some shrubs. But yeah, as far as you feel comfortable, the undead do not notice y'all. You've probably, in the last hour, maybe passed a dozen undead tops, and you're just so quickly moving around that they don't seem to notice you. And then as the group kind of continues moving forward, Grant, you hear a crushing sound, like larger footsteps, like almost like picking up pace. And you turn to look, and you see a giant troll, like lanky green, long-armed figure, about 40 feet away from y'all, run up and just with essentially a club made of some rotten wood, get to one of the undead and just smash it and pin it up against a tree. And with his other hand, just reach in and you rip its head off, and just start chuckling as he throws the head.
Damn. No one else saw that? This was like behind us, off
to the distance. You just see it about 140. Like, your perception was really high. This was about 140 feet away from y'all. Yeah. You just see it happen. You're like,
I'll probably tap Marb on the shoulder and tell him real quietly, or maybe Calisor, you're still an alligator right now, right? Or crocodile right now?
You got about another hour of gator left.
Mm-hmm.
So I probably would tap like Marb on the shoulder and try and get his attention really quietly. It's like, hey, look in the distance. Check it out. There's a fucking troll out there.
Just in time, Marb.
Oh wow, Marb is here. Oh, so we'll wait for his response.
Well, also, we may need to fill him in on exactly what's going on.
Yeah. Oh, perfect timing. That's pretty cool. But yeah, Grant, you just basically witnessed, from half a football field away, just the demonstration of what a troll can do to something that is smaller than it.
Pretty sweet.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Do you have audio? Can you hear us, Marb?
I mean, you are muted. Just, I don't know if that's by on purpose or not.
Yeah, Mike is muted. Okay, gotcha. I see it. All right, so we'll just kind of I'll just role play for you on this. So Marb, Grant, you tap Marb on the shoulder, and Marb looks, and Marb's eyes just get a little bit big and a little bit scared. And Marb wants to, and he's like, oh shit, we need to go, keep going. This is no place to fight that. It's like, I like to stab things, but not that.
Yeah. Gotta keep focused. It looks like we're not attracting any undead attention, and they're not even really looking out for us. And the numbers are pretty thin. I think we're pretty safe. We just got to keep moving tonight. There is a hill in the distance, and I point towards it, and I'm like, I know you're in the lead, or maybe you want to pass this off to Calisor, but I think there's a hill farther up ahead. But it looks a little odd. It might be different from the other ones.
Okay. Marb will actually take that and almost, sneak up a little bit quicker because he's comfortable moving through this terrain with his skills and his training. He catches up to you, Calisor, and while you're not able to necessarily communicate back with him, verbally, you could grunt and nod your head. He leans in and relays the message like, Cal, there's a hill. Grant sees a hill, maybe about 150, 200. Oh, sorry, not 150. About 10. That way. Just it's a ways away. And then he kind of looks around, gets back into his position. So yeah, there's a hill probably about 8 to 10 minutes of the pace that y'all are traveling. Anyone else want to do a perception check in this 10-minute time while Davis is kind of helping y'all
get a free +3?
I mean, I guess I would just keep my eyes out for if there's anything like, since I'm kind of going up and down in between the water, if there's anything like in the water that we need to be worried about.
Okay, go ahead and roll me that perception check, whatever it is, and add another +3 on top of it.
As a gator?
He gets to use his...
oh, that's right.
He's a druid. He gets to use his mentals. Wow, jeez. Okay. As you're kind of swimming through there, you just kind of instinctively every once in a while just kind of chomp as you see like a fish, like some little like catfish, just barely able to swim through, and it's a delicious little snack. Cal, there's in the water immediately, there's nothing threatening. The water is very shallow. Really, the only reason you're able to submerge is kind of by your gator nature. It is a creature designed to essentially be invisible in a few feet of water. Even if with its decently large size. The water is, as far as you can tell, you're fairly confident, the water is not the danger. The water is what slows you down and, bogs down the boots, gets people to have, pruny feet, which then can lead to disease and infection potentially, which that crosses your mind. But other than that, the waters are okay. And you do see that hill that Marb mentioned that Grant sees, and you can fairly easily navigate the group towards that hill if you wish. And you do, kind of poking out, you do see that it's greener than any of the hills that you've seen in this domain, or in the Hags area, or even in Mothras's area, because Mothras's area was still barren hills.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably head towards it.
Okay. Anyone else taking a look out for anything? But please do, again, be specific.
Not quite perception, but could I do cast detect magic and just see compared to the first day I cast that how intense it is right now?
Oh sure. Yeah. Yeah, do you...
How daring are you?
All right. Are you using a spell slot to cast it, or are you ritually doing it?
I'll use a spell slot.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to say, if you did it ritually, you would have to stop. So, go ahead and burn that spell slot. You do. Al, you are instinctively preparing yourself for, that assault on the senses.
Brings for impact.
Yeah. It's not nearly as bad. There's still a lot of magic. It's not quite staring at the sun like it was initially. It's more like when it's kind of like when the sun reflects off the ocean and it kind of hurts your eyes to kind of look at the sparkles because it's so intense. It's kind of like that. There's still a very large amount of magic just latently through this entire section. Go ahead and give me a arc. You know what? I will let you do a spell casting check. So D20 plus proficiency plus charisma.
Okay.
Because your Arcana, I mean, you use your charisma to cast. So yeah, 17, 19. Yeah. So you pick it up. There's definitely a whole bunch of different types of magic woven through here. There's conjuration, there's transmutation, there's abjuration, some evocation. The amount of necromantic energy that you saw more towards the other part of Deeproot, substantially less here. It looks like you're reaching potentially that limit of this Dark Engine's sphere of influence.
It's nice.
There's still some, but there's not. And actually, you did cast Detect Magic. As you do kind of look around, the old man's beards, they definitely radiate minor conjuration magics.
Okay. I probably wouldn't hold Detect Magic too long. I think I'd let Marb know that specifically about the old man's beards. It's conjuration. I don't know if those are natural. I don't know what kind of could have brought those about. Wary. Because we're wary of everything, but be especially wary of those.
Would Roque have heard talk of that?
Roque has what? I mean, you're not trying to keep anything from everybody, but he has a passive perception of 14. Yeah, he would have heard, for sure.
Oh, wait, I'm not doing Roque. Never mind. I mean, I guess we can kind of group do it. I was going to say, specifically because he kind of mentioned there's so many of them and showed them to me earlier, he might speak up at that.
Go for it. So
he'd say, yeah, no, I saw earlier that there's, so many of these. Or two, did you say too many? I don't remember.
Essentially, yeah, he gets the feeling that there's like potentially too many of these things.
So
yeah, they're everywhere.
You're saying they're magical?
I don't know if they're meant to be there.
I don't know, it's really hard to role play Roque.
I know. I can do it for you if you want. It's easy for me to get into that. Yeah, he's like, I just want one of them to move so I know I can blast it. And that way I know that my hunch is right.
Wait, what are you blasting, Roque?
I swear if these start moving, what are you talking about?
I mean, I cut it earlier. It's just vegetation, man. Let's keep
moving. Smelled funny, though.
It's in a swamp. This whole marsh probably reeks of, like, swamp gas and stuff.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. That's gotta be what it is.
If I stab one, will it make you feel better?
I mean...
Marb stabs, like, a random tree, the closest one.
The tree, you just stab the tree. That's not what we were talking about, Marb, but yeah, that makes me feel better.
There we go.
Thanks, man. And like Roque just kind of pushes by and then moves up towards his bird friend. He's all happy. He's with his bird friend. He's like, he misses Pebble. He wants to be next to another bird.
Yeah, rip Pebble. Can't believe you all let Pebble. Never mind. I love you all.
So Nico, just a quick rundown. The group would continue. Actually, does anybody want to give him a rundown? Should let y'all do that.
Yeah, can I get a quick? Thank you.
Basically, so it's it was like 5 o'clock or so when we started. An hour or so hour or two before dusk or before sunset. We decided to press on. Roque had noticed something about the old man beard hanging moss stuff and asked me to cut one down for him, which I did. And then I went on to ignoring him because he's weird. And it didn't make any sense to me. We were starting to get kind of taxed, and metagaming-wise, I knew we needed to give people a short rest so that we could recharge stuff like our Pass Without Trace, so I went down the row and kind of gave a little pep talk to everybody as we went, so that. By the way, you've had a short rest now if you like, and I pasted the thing above where it's like you can regain hit dice and all that other stuff, but I don't think you should need that. And then in the meantime, as you were coming back, Grant was, as I was kind of giving everybody a pep talk, Grant noticed a troll, what'd you say, like 40 feet away?
140 feet.
Oh, 140 feet.
140, yeah, off in the distance.
Okay, like throttle some undead being and take its head off and kind of chortle. And so that's when he was
smashing
like,
shit for fun.
Yeah, and so that's when he was relaying it to you, who you then relayed it to Calisor.
And y'all roll ridiculous high stealth checks.
Oh,
so.
yeah. I rolled a 1, but everybody else rolled amazing. Including you. You rolled a 27. I mean, I rolled a 13 total, but that's because of Pass Without Trace.
Oh my god, sweet.
So, yeah. So there's about 8 to 10 minutes ahead of you, following Calisor's gator form. There's a hill, and Grant has mentioned that it looks a little different than the other hills, and that it just looks a little different. So I'm assuming that's where the group is going now. Does it go check out the hill, or
following the lead?
All right, Cal and Marb, y'all are essentially the lead. So, all right. So we'll go to the hill. All right. Y'all get there. Marb, you're on lookout continuously. Dregnar, you're not seeing anything to get your attention. And we'll say that you guys make it to the hill. When you guys arrive to the hill, Grant, what you saw is kind of confirmed. It's not barren. It's not empty. It's not naked. There is plenty of swamp vegetation growing up around the hill. There's trees providing natural cover. Al, as you kind of walk around, you're trying to look for those little stones that you found. They're not there. Dregnar, you go to the side of the hill where you would expect the mushrooms to be. They're not there, and there's not even a sign of those mushrooms like decomposing into the black sludge or anything. It looks like these are completely separate from that, the hills that you guys were encountering earlier, or basically through your entire experience here in Deeproot. And then, the trees, they're here. They're covered in usnea. It's the proper way to say it. The old man's beard. It is. Darkness is coming, though. So make your decision on what you guys want to do.
I will say, if anybody makes sign of like stopping or slowing down, I'm gonna be like, no, what are you doing? We're pushing onwards. But if we're just pushing onwards, then we're just pushing onwards.
Yeah, I think we're all committed to it.
Okay. So I need Go ahead.
Do we want to just go past the hill? Do we want to go explore the top of the hill and just keep going? I guess that's a question.
Yeah, keep in mind
it is kind of strange.
Yeah, the hills are, minimum. The smallest hill that y'all saw is probably about 30 feet across and elevation of maybe about 15 feet. This one is probably more along the size of 40, 45 feet across in any, direction, and maybe about 20 feet up. But it's much taller if you look at the trees that are growing on it. The trees probably reach about another 40 feet up into the sky. And there's plenty of birds. It's just kind of sitting there. There's birds sitting there. And there's the usnea is just kind of covering most of the branches. So if the group is committed to moving forward, you're going on probably about hour 14 at this point.
Go ahead. I was just gonna ask, what's the light like at this point?
Yeah, we might have to drift a little bit.
It's you're running out of light. You probably have about another 15 minutes of usable dusk light. So like down below where you get off the hill, it's dark. It's difficult to see. There are enough patches in the canopy in this portion of the swamp where some moonlight and some starlight might get through. But torches, drift globes, light spells, they are probably necessary come here very soon. Cal, I will say, unless if you want to refresh, your gator form is going to drop.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Adam, you said there were trees on top of this?
Yes.
I'm going to scurry up one and look out and see if I can see the coast of the river.
Good call.
Okay, good call. It's easy enough for you to climb.
He's a bug. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, you.
I'd like the guidance, Dregnar, if he needs it.
I mean,
You're climbing at a disadvantage just to make it a challenge for yourself. So
I'm climbing with my feet only.
Yeah.
Not exactly.
Teeth.
You're not 9 yet. Jeez. So yeah,
but
Dregnar,
he's practicing for it. That's why it's perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, Dregnar is able, like, you see him and he kind of runs and he bounds and he goes up about 7 or 8 feet, just running with his feet, and then he starts grabbing on it. He's like more like launching himself up kind of thing. More like a bear would climb a tree. And he does make it up. Dregnar, you're looking out. It is a little slick up here. The birds, you disturb them and they start flocking away. All these different like white cranes, blue little swamp birds, all that. You look out. Go ahead and give me a perception check. You're at a high point, so go ahead and do it at advantage. Nice. Natural 18 for 23. As you're looking out, you get a little punch in the gut in that you don't see the river. You see a few more hills scattered around. And there seem to be more along the line, kind of like this one, where the only reason you notice it's a hill is because there's a patch of trees that just kind of grow abruptly higher than the next and abruptly higher than the next. You do see a little bit of water, like maybe like a tributary or so. And then a little bit of ways beyond that, you see a much larger hill that seems to be somewhat flattened, and it looks with that check. Yeah, there seems to be stonework over there, potentially of some sort of building. It's kind of hard to make out because it is quite a distance away. It's not in a. It's to answer the. Is it a tower? It's not. It's much larger than
a tower shape.
No.
Okay.
It's much larger than like a tower. It's taking up a sizable area, and the clearing or the raised area that it's on is, a couple 100 feet probably. Actually, let me think that through. But yeah, it's a much larger area, and it's about probably at this vantage point looking out, it's probably about a 45 minutes march through the woods. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, and it's on like a raised, elevated hill that's probably a few 100 feet across. It's a much larger hill.
Any movement or light source?
Light's falling. You're looking east, so the sun sets in the west, so it's behind you. So you would actually have a fairly decent advantage. No, not really. Like you squint and you focus your vision, and you're like looking maybe for like torchlight, braziers, or something. You really can't make it out at this distance. It seems more dark than lit.
Okay. On my way down, because you said there was birds in the trees, I'll grab any eggs on the way down. And then about halfway down, I'll jump out and slow fall down and give everybody an egg if I find any.
Go ahead and give me a survival check just to see how many eggs you manage to raid. Okay, yeah, that you get about 5 eggs to split amongst the group. Nicely done. A little bit of extra food. So
I just crack mine open and eat it that way.
Yeah.
Is that a normal dwarf thing? Or is that a monk thing or a Dregnar thing?
A little bit of both.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is, you've never heard me talk about other dwarves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So
We're pretty sure you're not actually a dwarf. You're
Simon.
probably like a gnome instead of a dwarf costume or something.
that would
I'm
be
just a
amazing.
really hefty gnome with a big beard.
So yeah, Dregnar. Yeah. So Cobalt on 3 dwarf suits. I got it. Oh, damn it. All right. So yeah, as the group does, I guess, are you relaying that information or?
Yes, I will. I'll relay it as best I can.
Gotcha.
I know wasn't there somebody doing a map of the area?
I was at one point, but that's kind of been long gone.
Mm-hmm.
That was like basically just as we were hill hopping towards the hut. I will
So,
say I have not been keeping up with that.
Yeah, I figured you haven't been asking about it or anything.
Yep.
So Amara will pipe up and say, "Well, if there's a shelter, maybe we should go there and rest. I mean, we're pushing good time, but my boots are getting waterlogged. I'm getting pretty tired. I'm not like you guys. I don't think I can keep this up."
So about how far away did you think it was to that next hill? Or to the stone structure?
30 minutes?
30 minutes, 45 minutes would be a safe guess.
I mean, at the least, it's kind of on our way. We should check it out.
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah, let's go.
There's a structure of some sort there. We might as well go ahead and check out and see what it is.
Yeah, I mean, if it's something that can keep us relatively safe, then yeah, maybe we can make camp or something. I understand. It can only push so hard.
And considering I wasn't able to see the waterway from up there, so
Yeah.
We're still pretty
It
far
might be our
away,
best bet
yeah.
for a while.
Okay. So since you guys are pushing on, I need everybody to roll me Constitution saving throws to push through the exhaustion. Dregnar, you get to do it at advantage because you ate a little bit of an egg and got yourself a little bit of a refresher.
I'm gonna guidance myself.
That's a saving throw, not a check.
I'm gonna bless everybody.
That's fine. You actually could, if you wanted to. You could bless.
All right, let's cash. How many guys we got? One, two.
Help.
Oh, too fast. I'll bless. Who's bad at this kind of shit? I guess.
Your entire group is actually fairly good at Constitution saving throws.
Yeah.
I would say, all right. So Al is not proficient.
Neither am I.
Calisor, Davis are not proficient. So those are probably your best bets.
Okay, I'll cash in a level 2 and give it to them plus me.
Okay. Al, you can go ahead and roll a d4 on top of that. Calisor, you're in human form, so when you make it, do the roll in human form, and you can add a d4.
Plus my 3 for Constitution?
Yeah, whatever your human.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right.
Nice.
So Al got a 5, 6 total. Okay, so Dregnar's good. Al, you're tired. Al, that momentary lift you up and everything fades, and you're starting to feel tired again, and you suffer another point of exhaustion, or you're back down to 1 point of exhaustion. Amara is also looking like she's starting to really slow down. She's keeping up, but you can tell her breathing's a little bit heavier and all that. So she is also exhausted.
Oh, I forgot about her. It's fine.
And then, did anyone roll for Roque?
I did not, but I can.
Can you go ahead and roll D20 plus 6 for Roque, if you would, Cal?
Tanky ass.
Plus
wizard.
6? Fucking hell.
Yeah, he's fine. He's just no. He's all happy that he's kind of more in the middle, following Marb, and he doesn't even recognize that Al and Amara are, breathing heavily and tired, and he's more interested in something to explore, something to check out. Let's go. So the group manages to. I guess. Are we putting up another? How are you traveling there? Are you guys going stealthily off the hill, or more making it a quick? Because this would be the next hour ticking over, so you would have to do the next.
If we can shadow magic our way through, then I say we can. If not, then I say we book it.
Okay. Dregnar, do you want to pass without trace again?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I pulled life aggro for a second.
Oh, that's fine. All right. Unfortunately, this is another one of those sessions where there's a lot of checks right now. So everybody, please go ahead and roll me a stealth check with the additional +10. Al, you're at disadvantage. Mara is at disadvantage. I will roll for her.
I am too, but that's just because of my shit.
And then, of course, please roll for Roque, which is just a flat +10. And then, oh god, yeah, they're fine. Just already, like Dregnar just made up for 2 people.
Holy
Grants
moly!
with disadvantage is doing okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forget how goddamn nutty Al is at stealth. It's like fucking stupid.
Al
a natural
cheated.
1 would have still been a
Can
20.
I learn?
Yeah.
So
Al,
can I
need to
learn
teach
pass
you-
without trace?
Do I need to teach you the way of the shadow?
I mean, Al, you could always take it eventually as one of your magical secrets.
That's right.
Teach me, master.
Bards can do whatever the fuck they want, basically.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
That's
Gotcha.
right.
All right, so yeah, really, Amara, like the pace that y'all are going is slower, just to compensate for Amara and Al's exhaustion. But as far as not making noise,
Can I carry Amara? Like her just
You
having a
could offer.
piggyback? Yeah, I'll be like, hey, I'll keep you can keep your feet out of the water. I'll
Grant,
just
get that spell
carry
ready.
she's like, she's like, thank you, and she kind of actually literally
Sarcastic
jumps
spirit
on your
guardians, and I'd murder them both.
back. Wrong spell, Grant. But yeah,
No, the marriage spell. God, Grant.
ceremony.
Awesome. Okay, so yeah, you essentially are carrying Amara. She, how much? Probably weighs like 110 pounds. She's not a big thing.
Good. I have 150 to spare, so.
Okay, so yeah, you're fine. You're not encumbered. Yeah, it's just 110 to 120 pounds, let's say, with equipment on. So yeah, you can carry her just fine. You guys make it. You guys do pass a little tributary that runs, but looking up and down it, there is no signs of that river on either side. It just seems to be just like a little meandering actual body of little finger of water kind of cutting through. Potentially something to follow, but definitely not anywhere near the main river that y'all were hoping to see. And then as you guys kind of cross it, not difficult. It's maybe 10 feet wide at most, very shallow. You go back into the woods, and within 2 or 3 minutes beyond that, you start to see the gentle sloping hill, and then you actually do see some stonework. And I guess we're not gonna take a break, but we'll wait for Dregnar to get drop the wife aggro for a moment, and I'm gonna give CJ a quick call just to see if I can stir him.
I will say real quick, if we get to a patch where there's like dry enough ground and we're up on the hill, that's when I'll let Amara down.
Okay, yeah, you'll get very close to that.
Yeah.
Drop her on the ground.
And I threw it on the ground.